Con Air from 1997 is an awesome movie. It's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies. But it's pretty fucked up. I mean, it's actually kind of typical for a Nicolas Cage movie, but it's fucked up compared to most other things. The movie starts off with Army Ranger Cameron Poe. I even love the names in this movie. Cameron Poe. The only other Poe I can think of is Edgar Allan. It's just such a weird choice. Anyway, Poe is heading home to Alabama to see his pregnant wife after, I guess, a tour of duty of some kind. And he's in a bar where she works, and this creepy dude has the hots for his wife, and when he gets rejected, he and his buddies get together and try to kick Cameron Poe's ass, which is such a cliche thing. I mean, you even see it in movies today. An angry douchebag gets rejected by a woman, and then they become violent, and the hero or heroine kicks the shit out of them. Pretty basic. But in this case, one of them pulls a knife, and Poe kills him with a palm to the face. And this is where it gets even crazier, because his lawyer makes him plead guilty to manslaughter, and he gets 7 to 10 years in prison. And then the judge says that it's because of his military skills, that he is a deadly weapon and not subject to the same laws as other people who are provoked. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's not how the law works. Pretty sure everyone is subject to the same laws, or at least that's how it's supposed to be. And this would never happen to an Army Ranger war veteran in Alabama, of all places. I mean, I bet if he used a gun to kill this dude, they wouldn't have even arrested him. And his lawyer advises him to plead guilty and says that if he doesn't, he could get 10 years. Well, he did plead guilty, and he still got 7 to 10 years. So what the fuck? His lawyer is a piece of shit.
Didn't do it. Lawyer fucked me.
Anyway, he spends the next 8 years in prison. I guess there was no chance of him getting out on good behavior. And he writes letters to his young daughter, who he's never met, and she writes letters back. And this is where I started to appreciate Nicolas Cage's southern accent. It's pretty wild.
Dear Casey, of course I'm coming home. You're just a little while longer, and all the things we miss doing together, you can be sure we'll do. Dear Hummingbird, break out the fine china, chill the lemonade, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, 'cause this boy's coming home to his ladies. Coming home forever.
Apparently Colonel Sanders is the star of this fucking movie. Anyway, his time is served, and he's getting on a plane to Alabama, but the plane is filled from top to bottom with all the psychopaths from whatever prison he was in. I guess they all happen to be getting transferred to the same fucking place at the same fucking time. And just Cameron Poe is catching a ride with them. I mean, are they closing the prison? What the hell's going on? And where the fuck is it? I mean, Cameron Poe's crime took place in Alabama, but he has to be flown to Alabama. From where? I don't know. It just seems pretty fucked up to me. And it's at this point we meet U.S. Marshal Vince Larkin. And that's another weird name, because the only Larkins I've ever heard of are Hall of Fame shortstop Barry Larkin and Larkin Love. Don't Google her. But then again, I'm Steak, so maybe I should just shut the fuck up about people's names. I mean, obviously the names are not the weirdest thing about this fucking movie. Shut up, Eddie. We get it. The names are weird. Anyway, Vince Larkin is wearing sandals with socks, so I have no choice but to hate him. And he's sort of overseeing this prisoner transfer, but he's not in charge of it, because the person in charge of it is DEA Special Agent Duncan Malloy, played by Chief O'Brien from Star Trek. So you can see why I like this movie. But I have no idea why a DEA agent is in charge of this. I mean, that's the Drug Enforcement Agency. These guys are in jail for murder and all kinds of crazy shit. But, you know, we'll be here all day if I start picking apart all the weird shit in this goddamn movie. So let's just power through it. And this is where we get introduced to all the prisoners on the plane, one by one. Larkin reads off their stats like it's the back of a fucking football card. And this is where we meet the main villain, Cyrus Grissom, a.k.a. Cyrus the Virus. very clever. And he's apparently 39 years old, and he spent 25 years in prison. So that means he's only had 14 years of freedom in his entire life, most of which had to be spent as a kid, right? I mean, I don't think he got arrested as a baby, but I don't know. You never know with this movie. But basically, it means he's done a lot of fucked up shit in a very short period of time. Anyway, and this is also where we meet Dave Chappelle, who is in this movie. And that'll come into play later. And finally, we meet Cameron Poe. He steps off the bus. The wind is in his hair. Easy breezy, beautiful convict girl. And pretty much as soon as they take off, the prison break begins. They all start taking out implements to pick the locks, and Dave Chappelle lights a random prisoner on fire with some kindling that he swallowed. It's pretty fucking elaborate. And Cyrus the Virus threatens the pilot with this line.
And if you say a word about this over the radio, the next wings you see will belong to the flies buzzing over your rotting corpse.
Doesn't make any sense. If he's dead, he's not going to see the fucking flies, you dumb motherfucker. Anyway, they have control of the plane, and Cameron Poe starts crying. I mean, if this guy's sentence is up, he's done his time, he's free, why the fuck does he even have to be on this plane? Couldn't they just release him wherever the fuck he was and he could just get a commercial flight home? Like a person? I mean, I know that he's on parole, so he's technically not free, but just send a fucking parole officer with him. None of this makes any sense to me. But then we wouldn't have a movie if that happened, so here we are. And they land for a prisoner pickup in Carson City, which I'm pretty sure is in Nevada. So we're still a long way from Alabama. And they pick up, awfully conveniently, a prisoner who also happens to be a pilot. And he looks like Lemmy from Motorhead. They also pick up Steve Buscemi, who is obviously the Hannibal Lecter of this fucked up cartoon universe. I mean, why are all these people on the same fucking plane? It makes no fucking sense. They managed to make the transfer without raising any eyebrows, too, which is a fucking miracle. And then Dave Chappelle's character dies. Tragic. And Cameron Poe writes a note on his chest to Larkin. And he drops him out of the plane. And he lands on General Hammond's car.
Oh, boy. You see that? See? Every time I get a waxed, I get 10 feet from the car wash and then pow, bird shit.
Well, it's supposed to be good luck. Lights changed.
Oh, damn.
Okay. I don't think the note would still be legible after that kind of impact. I think there'd be Dave Chappieces all over the goddamn place. And who the fuck cleans bird shit off their windshield with a tissue? Use your wipers, you asshole. Anyway, Larkin does get the note, and it tells him where the plane is headed. So he steals Chief O'Brien's Corvette, and he drives there. And while all this is happening, one of the bad guy prisoners is going through Cameron Poe's luggage, and he finds his parole letter and the bunny that he plans to give to his daughter. So now this guy knows that he is, quote, a punk. And then this scene happens.
You've been playing us all along. You a free man.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
Okay, they can't even stand up. There's not even standing room in this fucking cargo area they're in, but they're fighting. And Cameron Poe obviously kills this dude.
Why couldn't you Put the bunny back in the box.
Great one-liner. Although, this also would have been acceptable.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
And then after killing a dude, Cameron Poe just casually goes back to his seat on the plane, and he has a conversation with Steve Buscemi. And he says this.
One girl, I drove through 3 states wearing her head as a hat.
It's my daughter's birthday today. So please feel free not to share everything with me.
Okay, how do you drive through 3 states wearing someone's head as a hat? You have to stop and pay tolls. I don't think they had Easy Pass back then. So the toll booth workers just saw this guy and assumed he has 2 heads, one on top of the other, like a human totem pole. What the fuck was the point of that anecdote? And he must have been driving a convertible, because how would he have the headroom for 2 fucking heads? Unless he had a sunroof and he just opened that. It's just fucking wild. Anyway, the plane lands again, this time in a fucking junkyard somewhere. And when I say lands, I don't mean like everything went off without a hitch. It was complete fucking chaos. Larkin almost gets run over. Some random guy almost dies. It's fucking madness. But for the sake of time, I can't dive into every little piece of insanity in this movie. We'll be here all day. This is already going to be my longest video to date. And Poe meets up with Larkin. And they're pointing guns at each other for some reason. Even though, Poe... The whole reason Larkin is there is because Poe wrote that note. So I don't know why he doesn't trust him, but whatever. It looks dramatic. And really the whole reason Poe is sticking around is because his friend is on the plane and he's dying because he needs an insulin shot. I mean, why they couldn't just give this dude his shot before they took off, I have no idea. But he doesn't have it because it got smashed in the chaos. And Poe doesn't want to leave the dude behind. Understandable. And lucky because, again, we wouldn't have a movie otherwise. And somehow Poe finds a syringe to give his friend some insulin. Which seems highly unlikely, given that we are in what looks like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But okay. And the whole point of them landing was so that they could link up with some guy who was apparently going to help them escape. And Poe killed all those dudes. So that plan is out. And Larkin called for backup, so the police are showing up. And so all the prisoners have to get back on the original plane and take off. It's fucking mental. And they're about to lift off, but then this happens, which is fucking insanity. I mean, this rope that's hanging on the back of the plane somehow magically attaches itself to this Corvette that Larkin was driving, and it just pulls the fucking Corvette. I mean, how did this happen? Look at it.
On any other day, that might seem strange.
It's fucking exhausting. And Poe gives the insulin to his friend, and he starts feeling better. And then Cyrus shoots him. And he does it because Cyrus suspects that there's a traitor among them, and Poe's friend says it was him. And Poe is standing right there, but he just lets his friend admit to all this shit, so Cyrus shoots him. And somehow, randomly, Cyrus has a letter that Poe's daughter wrote to him. And it proves he's been lying. So he knew the traitor was Poe the whole time. But he decided to ask questions. And that's how his friend got shot. It's so fucked up. And then he takes the bunny hostage. So we're just in cartoon land right now. And then Chief O'Brien shows up in some kind of a attack helicopter and he starts firing at the plane. And here comes my favorite scene in the whole movie. The entire reason I'm recording this video. It is truly the cream of the crap.
All I can think about is like, there ain't no God. he don't exist. Hey, where you going?
I'm gonna show you God does exist.
Freeze, little big boy!
Holy shit. Okay, I admit that was awesome, but what the fuck? I know his friend is shot and he's hurt bad, but there's all this chaos around. Is this really the time for a philosophical conversation? All I can think about is maybe there ain't no God. And do you think aliens exist? Who really built the pyramids? How do you feel about Santa Claus? I love Santa Claus. And I'm going to show you aliens do exist. I fucking love it. It's fucking insane. And how does this prove God exists? I mean, yeah, man, it's cool you went all Rambo and shit, but now we're both shot. Did you just not react to getting shot to show me up or something? And does this mean you're God? It's just so insane. I also don't know how the fuck this dude only hit Poe in the arm. I mean, it looked like it was pretty point blank to me. So maybe there was a bit of a miracle after all. I mean, there's been several so far in this movie. So, you know, maybe it is proof God exists. I don't know. And the plane is approaching Las Vegas. I mean, how long have they been flying this fucking plane? They were supposed to be going to Alabama. But they've been stuck in Nevada for 2 fucking hours. Anyway, welcome home, Nicolas Cage. And somehow, Lemmy lands the plane on the Vegas Strip without killing anyone. Good job. He really is the ace of spades. And police surround the vehicle, but somehow Cyrus and the crew hijack a fire truck and escape. Every law enforcement officer in this whole movie is dog shit. I mean, how did this even happen? But it turns out that Poe's friend is going to live, so that's a plus. And one of the guards says to Poe, next time, take the bus. Fuck yeah, take the bus. I'd be down for that. Speed 3, The Bus Part 2, starring Cameron Poe. Sounds awesome to me. And it's at this point Poe notices that Cyrus is escaping. So he takes it upon himself to go after him. I mean, why not, right? You could walk away, but you might as well kill the bad guy at this point. And he does. He kills all these motherfuckers in very satisfying and elaborate ways. And that's basically how the movie ends. His daughter gets her disgusting bunny rabbit that looks like it's covered in human blood. And that's it. Although I don't know how his family ended up in Vegas. I guess they heard it on the news or something. But they show up, and it's a nice embrace. Nice moment for Cameron Poe. And that's it. It's a pretty fucked up movie. But it's awesome. There's so much I didn't even talk about. I didn't mention Danny Trejo's character or Ving Rhames' character. I didn't talk about anything really with Steve Buscemi's character. And frankly, it's because it's all really fucked up. And it's just too much to go into. I mean, those characters almost deserve their own movie. They're that insane. And the music in the movie is crazy. I mean, it's not even really a score. It just sounds like Eddie Van Halen is doing some guitar riff every time Nicolas Cage does something. It's fucking wacky. It's kind of the perfect example of the 90s action movie. It's got everything that was crazy and fun about that time. And they just don't make movies like this anymore. So I say go watch it. And I do apologize for the length of this video. I really babbled. I normally want my videos to be half this length. But that's just how crazy Con Air is. I can't shut up about it. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Just remember, if you find yourself on a plane full of psychopathic prisoners and you're trying to blend in, just make sure they don't find your bunny rabbit. Because I guess they don't like that.